Hi, welcome to TheJaxLife for Monday, August the 1st, 2011. And today happens to be the 30th anniversary of MTV Music Television. And I wanted to take a moment to talk about when I first encountered MTV and what I've thought of MTV over the years. Uh, I didn't actually, of course, see the first broadcast on August the 1st, 1981. I didn't start really watching MTV until later, but the first time I encountered MTV was, of all things, at the Den meeting in my Cub Scout troop in 1983. And one of the first videos I saw was Michael Jackson's Thriller. And I grew up on cable, believe it or not. I can remember the old slider machines and cable was so new. And this was, believe it or not, when I first started watching cable, it was like 1979, 1980, 1981. And there were so few channels that you could go up and down the dial and you would get either like a test bar pattern or you get these flashing bars and they go zip, 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 zip. And if you had the TV really loud or you were watching a show and the slider fell under the couch, all of a sudden you'd be watching it, you'd adjust yourself on the couch, and all of a sudden the channel would change and you'd get those strange, real loud bars and noises. So it was that far back in time, I guess you could say, with cable. But we didn't start actually getting MTV into our house until like the mid 80s, and then my dad watched it. And back then, of course, I was so young that MTV was kind of considered a channel that I didn't watch unless kind of like was unattended or was in a group of people who found it, okay. It wasn't until 89, 90 that I started watching MTV myself whenever I felt like it. And it was quite an experience watching MTV. See all sorts of videos, and it was the early 90s. And I like to say that the 90s did not begin until Nirvana's Smells Like Teen Spirit, till that video came out. Before that, it wasn't the 90s. After they broadcast their video, the 90s began. And I remember the first time I sat down and watched the video and how I knew that it was different. And I saw that it was something totally different. And for me, that was when the 90s began, and I guess that was, the beginning of my best years, I guess. I would say, I guess my best years ranged from 91 through 97. So about 6 years of the golden age for me. So MTV at one point was very entertaining, and it was really, it was all about the music, and you'd have Beavis and Butthead, and you would have the election specials, the debates. I remember watching the one with Bill Clinton and someone asking boxers or briefs. Some of the PSAs, the news reports that were really, really different. And I remember watching MTV when Kurt Cobain died, and that was, that was very sad. And I remember Kurt Loder, and I remember being shocked and not understanding why, and later on I lost my father and my brother to suicide. So, but I didn't understand at the time why music put out by someone that was so great would end so quickly because he couldn't carry on. So MTV, powerful impact on my life, as you can see. And then later on, MTV was just, reality TV and, game shows, and I got more focused on that. And, I would watch some of it, and I actually watched the first and second seasons of Real World. And then after that, I think I watched Real World 3, and then Real World 4. But once I started going to college, in '95, actually away to college when I hit my junior year from community college into Florida State. Uh, I then didn't, really, I didn't watch MTV incredibly regularly at that point. Uh, you know, I mean, I would catch it once in a while, but I didn't watch it as regularly, and maybe over the summer. But I guess I'm kind of the video generation, and I mean, having grown up and even seen videos more, back then, and there's still some great videos out there. Foster the People has a great video called Helena Beat that's hilarious. It's amazing. Totally just, you got to see it. So videos still happen, but they just don't happen as much on MTV, and I think that it's something I'd love to see MTV go back to doing. But, I catch music videos when I can, and of course listen. So, well, that's the impact MTV has had on my life, and and as those cable channels, happened over time. Now I don't have a slider box where, there were vacant channels. I mean, all the channels are practically filled. Uh, so now, as all these other channels get older, CNN and MSNBC and all these different cable channels. It's really great. I really I've been kind of been lucky to have had access to to seeing programming and stuff, a lot of it all at once. It's kind of interesting because back in the day, I would have access to cable, but then I would go out to my grandmother's and my grandfather's house, and they just had the three networks and the two or three independent stations and public television, and that was it. That was it. But then again, I can remember watching things back then that were very profound. But uh, nothing could beat MTV, and then later on VH1. So, all right. Well, I do want to let you know that I'm continuing voting on where I'm going to be going. This next Friday, on Friday, August the 12th, I'll be on location somewhere in North Florida. It's either going to be Jacksonville Beach, St. Augustine, or Riverside, Memorial Park in Riverside. So I'm giving everyone who comes onto the channel the chance to vote. And I had it up to today, but, no votes. So I'll go ahead and extend that till Monday. And that would be, I guess, Monday. Let's see, Monday the 8th. So you have to Monday the 8th to vote in the comments section of any of the videos, and I'll then go ahead and, based on your votes, I'll go on Friday the 12th and film a vlog. Thanks for watching. Take it easy. See you later.